Jamaica. Get all right. The message that was carried far and wide by the Tourism and Entertainment Ministry in 2013. We look at the top achievements of that ministry later in the show. And as Earthquake Awareness Week comes to a close, we look at Port Royal and the underwater city. I'm Adrian Atkinson, your guide through these and other fascinating stories on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica. Original.
Good day, I'm Samantha Allen and this is your GIS News for Friday, January 17. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller says it's time for all Jamaicans to stop covering the wrongs and commit to stamping out the scourge of crime. She made the call while addressing Digicel Foundation's 10th anniversary launch on Wednesday.
None of us can be satisfied with the level of crime. But it's not just about the government and the security forces. Communities must join hands together so we can destroy this monster plaguing our country at this time.
The Ministry of National Security recently launched a three-pronged crime-fighting strategy that calls on Jamaicans to unite for change. Cabinet is now considering a potential partner for the development of the Caymanas Economic Zone, a component of the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative. The disclosure was made by Chairman of the Logistics Hub Task Force, Dr. Eric Deans, at a recent JIS think tank session. Bids from local and international interests were received to develop the Caymanas Economic Zone after a request for proposals was issued in December 2012.
The heart and soul of the Logistics Hub is our special economic zones. Starting with the Caymanas Economic Zone, which will be 200 acres in Phase 1 and 1,500 acres in Phase 2.
16 special economic zones will be implemented across the island, replacing the free zones which previously existed. The Self-Start Fund is projecting to lend more than $100 million to the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises MSME sector for the 2014-2015 financial year. This will ultimately lead to the creation of over 1,000 jobs. General Manager Sesvin Hamilton told GIS News recently that the entity would provide up to $750,000 at an interest rate of between 10 and 23% per annum, repayable within 2 years. The Self-Start Fund, which was established by the government in 1983, provides loans to persons in the MSME sector who are unable to access financing from traditional institutions. The fund provides loans to persons involved in agriculture, trading, services and manufacturing. Over the past 5 years, the fund has disbursed 617 loans valued at over $200 million and created over 2,000 jobs. More than 13,000 residents in East and Westmoreland are to benefit from improved water supply as a result of an $80 million allotment to upgrade the potable water distribution system in the area. The money comes from the Water Ministry's budget and is being managed by the National Water Commission and the Rural Water Supply Limited. $42 million will cover work in the Leamington-Cedar Valley area, while $38 million will cover the Betheltown-Argyle Mountain area. Speaking at the contract signing and groundbreaking ceremony last Friday, Portfolio Minister Robert Pickersgill said there would be renewed commitment towards expanding and improving the potable water supply network across the island this year.
We remain unswerving in our efforts to achieve universal coverage for potable water by the year 2030.
The scope of work on both projects includes the rehabilitation of the existing water distribution network in the areas and the installation of 4.5 kilometers of new pipelines. And finally, the state-owned oil refinery Petrojam has donated $1.4 million to Rise Life Management Services Limited. The money will help fund the 24-year-old non-profit organization's operational expenses and sustain its current programs for inner-city children. The donation is is part of Petrojam's corporate outreach to meet the needs of people in the communities it serves and will help at-risk youth develop and make meaningful contributions to society.
We came on board, especially with the Kids Club, which at the time you said you cater to over 900 inner city youths in that program. And we thought it was very far-reaching and thought that it assists the young persons after school, as you mentioned, to get that care and monitoring to ensure that they are in a supervised environment. And not only supervised, but they are also learning as they come into your institution.
Executive Director at Rise Life, Sanita Abrams, says the organization is moving earnestly to build entrepreneurship opportunities for 250 youths in their early 20s who are benefiting from the services of Rise Life. The NGO relies solely on grants and donations to operate its 28 different social interventions for youth at risk. It gets support from government through the Ministries of Health, Education, National Security, as well as the court system. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Samantha Allen. Thanks for watching.
I needed help to expand my business, but the banks only wanted to be up in my business. The high interest rates were killing my business, and they're never really business with my business.
At the Exim Bank, we have your business needs covered. Our application process is easy, and we provide loans at competitive rates for the productive sector. From renewable energy projects and working capital to plant upgrades or expansion and export financing. Come in and talk to us today. The Exim Bank. On the road to success, you are going to want us in your business.
In 2013, the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment was on a mission to make Destination Jamaica the place of choice to relax, unwind, and feel all right. They accomplished that task while at the same time showcasing branded Jamaica to the world. A recap of the main highlights in our year in review.
Increased visitor arrivals, targeted marketing, more benefits for workers, and advancements in the entertainment sector. The Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment in 2013. Using market diversification and new airlift agreements, government created new avenues to boost Jamaica's tourism returns in 2013. Starting New Year's Day, Russia's Transair Airlines began operating regular charter flights to Jamaica. Air Canada Rouge also made its debut and is now flying between Toronto and Kingston and to Montego Bay.
We see the arrival of Rouge in Kingston as an opportunity to introduce more Canadians to the unique and often unexplored pleasures of our capital city and Port Antonio, Jamaica's most eco-friendly town.
Flights out of Sweden started in November and from the Czech Republic in December. Existing airlines also increased the flights to the island in 2013. Virgin Atlantic added a third weekly flight from the United Kingdom to Montego Bay, and British Airways announced the plans to add a fourth weekly flight from Gatwick, London into Kingston starting April 2014. The Tourism Ministry's strong marketing campaign also generated new cruise ship arrivals last year. The 2,700-passenger vessel Disney Wonder cruise ship first called at the Falmouth Pier in late 2013 and returned 4 more times within the year. To maintain those developments, Cabinet waived the visa requirements for some Eastern European nationals. The waiver applies to nationals of Russia, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Slovakia, and the Ukraine who are visiting Jamaica for the purposes of tourism and cultural exchange for a period of 30 days or less. By the end of 2013 and the start of the winter tourist season, some 2 million visitors had vacationed in Jamaica, marking the highest number of stopover arrivals in 1 year. They helped create the fiscal space to generate new jobs and grow the economy. The tourism landscape was also expanded and upgraded in the last calendar year. Among the new developments was the start of construction on a 130-room Marriott Business Hotel in New Kingston, set to open in 2015.
We want to broaden the visitor experience in Kingston in a way that best represents and positions it as the cultural capital of the Caribbean.
Meanwhile, the Braco Hotel in Trelawney was upgraded and got new operators under a management agreement drafted by the property's owner, the National Insurance Fund. Europe's third largest hotel chain, Melia Hotels International, will operate Braco for the next 15 years, bringing 400 more jobs for Jamaicans. Refurbishing and upgrading of Oterias also began in the year, with $400 million in financing from the Tourism Enhancement Fund. That work is to be completed early in 2014. The TEF also granted $400 million for the installation of lighting along the Elegant Corridor, a section of the North Coast Highway in Montego Bay.
It's a place where we have a lot of accidents. And if you notice, when you paint the medians, the dust blow back on the medians, so they get dark again. So we figure it's a good project, you know, because tourists and so forth, they use it. It's a corridor for tourism.
Meanwhile, the first in a series of 7 agritourism farmers markets kicked off in October to ensure a greater supply of local produce to hoteliers. And in support of government's strategy for improved safety and security, the TEF gave the Jamaica Constabulary Force more than $100 million worth of vehicles for crime-fighting strategies on land and at sea. Another safety issue was addressed when the ministry introduced short-term measures regulating the operations of personal watercrafts, including jet skis.
There's a reality that people's economic livelihood as legitimate commercial jet ski operators has to be protected. We have therefore to look at the balance.
The new regulations included a 6-month suspension on the importation of jet skis for commercial purposes. Sticking to the government's mandate of enhancing the country's competitiveness to drive job creation and economic growth, the Jamaica Tourist Board introduced its new advertising campaign, Jamaica Get All Right, in November. The campaign was launched in New York with what was considered the world's largest stress ball mounted in Times Square. Earlier in the year, the Tourism Ministry capitalized on a popular Volkswagen Super Bowl commercial featuring characters speaking in Jamaican dialect. The lead actor, Eric Nicolaisen, was invited to the island where the JTB organized a series of promotional activities. In the calendar year that was, the Tourism Ministry embarked on several programs to enhance the lives of workers within the sector. It's part of a wider strategy to improve human capital development nationally. A language skills training program was initiated to train 300 tourism workers in Russian and Spanish communication skills and culture. Meanwhile,
of the approximately 36,000 workers in the accommodation sector, approximately 30,000 will retire without a pension.
As government moves to change that, a draft pension plan was completed and agreed on by tourism stakeholders. The pension scheme is scheduled to be in place by year-end. In the last calendar year, exciting strategies unfurled to integrate entertainment into the economy. An entertainment registry was established to certify and register local entertainment practitioners. It serves as an information hub and addresses the informality which the ministry believes has limited the economic development of the sector.
It also solves some issues that we have as it relates to the travel of entertainers, in particular within CARICOM, under the Treaty of Chaguaramas, where the major reason for non-admittance is the lack of knowledge that they are actually entertainers.
And as consultations continued on proposed amendments to the Noise Abatement Act, the ministry announced plans to establish parish committees to deal with the extension of entertainment permits. Contracts, meanwhile, were brokered between local artists and international record labels following the ministry's Arts in the Park initiative.
We will continue to push our reggae music and to push our artists across not only Jamaica, but across the globe.
In 2013, tourism strengthened brand Jamaica, so much so that the country received the Baxter Travel Awards for the top tourist board and the top honeymoon destination. At the same time, the entertainment industry got structure, further cementing its role as a major economic contributor. The Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment continues to improve the two sectors while supporting the government's strategic priorities. See what else is being done at mot.gov.jm.
Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
The Eat What We Grow, Grow What We Eat mantra is gaining momentum in the nation's schools. And through the Science and Environmental Club at Waterford High, many farmers are using newspaper and plastic bottles to grow plants. It's a very good training ground. Watch this.
Welcome to another week of School Zone. I'm Tamara. Growing plants without using soil, is that even possible? Well, on today's program, find out how the Waterford High School Science and Environmental Club is making all this possible.
Let me tell you about hydroponics. Let me tell you about hydroponics. It started in Waterford High, when littering, yes, it reached the sky. So we recycle plastic bottle and paper to make we farming a bit greater. But wait, it not done. When we recycle, yes, we have fun. Gather with tools and equipment, link up everybody, principal, classmates, staff and friend. That's why me say, give me water and give me paper. Pass the bucket, cause we turn farmer. Put in the seed with the fertilizer. Make sure it's clean, we don't want to dirt ya. Hydroponics, that are the mix. Dash with the soil, it is a quick fix. No land space, but agriculture.
The community of Waterford is sometimes viewed as a troubled inner city area. Yet the sheer creativity of the Waterford High School students is a wonderful example of blooming where you're planted. Their award-winning hydroponics farm captured the eyes of School Zone. So how did this project get started?
Littering was a major problem at Waterford High School. We started to recycle plastic bottles and the papers. That's one of our major projects. Now, as an entry to the UDC competition, we started to do hydroponic farming. This was introduced to me by my brother Damian Ilton, and he told me that this is a great way to get children involved in recycling. So the project is called Urban Hydroponic Farming, using recycled plastic bottles and papers.
Talk about turning trash to treasure. But how does hydroponics really work?
Hydroponics is the use of growing plants without the use of soil. What we do, we use water and nutrients. At Waterford High School, as a framework, we use plastic bottles and paper. We use the papers because it holds the water. When we add the nutrients, it holds the water.
The students of the Science and Environmental Club who operate the project were in high spirits when School Zone visited, sharing with us how the project has benefited them and is helping them to be more environmentally aware.
I feel very enthused about my club having this project because we have contributed a lot to our school.
Well, the canteen at our school can get scraps from it to use to cook food for us at Waterford High School. And it reduces the pollution of plastic bottles in our environment.
I feel great about it, it's so fun.
Why is it so fun?
Because we get to plant and I love plants. It is very interesting and it is ozone friendly because you can use the plastic bottle in variety of different ways to conserve the environment from being polluted by plastic bottles.
Hydroponics. Hydroponics. Yes, a long time. For dirt. Hydroponic water, for that work. Shorter land space, get bucket and paper. Seed with fertilizer, greater. Hydroponics. Hydroponics.
Crops from the bountiful buttered farm are many, including callaloo, pak choy, lettuce, tomatoes, and more. And these veggies are being put to good use.
In March, we got a lot of sweet peppers and peppers. We offer some to the canteen and the students brought home some.
Don't let land space be a problem because you can set up a simple structure in your home, on your veranda, at the back of your house, simply by using plastic bottles and paper. So don't make a land space be a problem for you not to farm.
The project has been an entrant in a number of competitions to date, including the Sagicor Visionary Competition and the Earth Day Competition. In May 2013, it was awarded first place in the Urban Development Corporation Helsha Environmental Competition, and the Waterford team members are high off their winning streak.
We are really, really, really excited about winning. We deserve it. We do a lot of work. We know that we are #1, excellence always, and the students are very excited and very into hydroponic right now.
To say that we're excited and happy is an understatement. We are really very, very proud of our young scientists. They have put our school on the map again, and they have made us, as a school family, really, really very happy and excited. They have lived up to our motto, excellence always, and we are proud of them.
Great work being done by the Waterford High School Science and Environmental Club. Their hydroponics farm, which is definitely impacting the environment in a very positive way. For School Zone, I'm Tamara McHale.
Stand up and get in the race.
I can become the master of my destiny.
Step up your stride, make we work like a harder. Do it like Veronica, bolt and a supper.
We can rise above the challenges and shine.
Was with passion in your heart. Make a plan and stop all the idling. You think I saw? We reach out the edging. I can, you can. Like our Olympians, every Jamaican can.
Located at the mouth of the Kingston Harbour, the quiet, sleepy town of Port Royal is an excellent example of the richness of Jamaica's heritage. And as we continue to observe Earthquake Awareness Week, we return to the former home of pirates and buccaneers whose stories are legendary.
"13 acres of land buried underneath. The calming waves, it's believed, are hiding much of 17th century world history. All this because at 11:43 a.m. on June 7, 1692, an earthquake obliterated Port Royal as it was.
Just imagine what is still there for us to understand and to learn, not only in terms of Jamaica, but in terms of the 17th century world as a whole, where Port Royal was the most important English entrepot in the Western Hemisphere.
Today's generation flock to Port Royal for its delectable seafood. Men boast about the power of the town's oysters. Women skip the kitchen on a weekend and dine by its shores. Children dig into its beach. The seafood-loved town is no stranger to adoration. Known once as the wickedest city in the world, it's a title Port Royal earned at the tips of pirates' blades and on the strength of buccaneers' loot, spent on the wickedly sinful offerings of a 17th century Caribbean life. Lavish and expensive buildings, said to rival those in Europe, existed there. The stories of those who lived there, the life that unfolded in the town, lies in a surreal time warp at the bottom of the sea. There, since the 1692 earthquake took 13 acres of Port Royal down underwater. At least 3 of its forts, James, Carlisle and Rupert, along with streets and important buildings, were swallowed by the waters. Many questions are left unanswered, and explorations by the Jamaica National Heritage Trust have tried to unravel the clues.
What was clear to us from the archaeological investigations is that now we now know what exactly happened on the 7th of June, 1692. How we know? Because most of the buildings that sank underwater went down vertically.
But a 10-year exploration has only touched 1% of the underwater city. Still, the JNHT is proud of its research, which has uncovered thousands of treasures and human remains. Some of the items recovered were shown to students during a recent exhibition hosted on World Wetlands Day at the Old Naval Hospital located there.
They built these things, cistern, where they would catch water from off the roof. We were able to link the pewter and where they were making pewter in Port Royal to a man called Simon Bennett. The minute you remove it from its environment, it starts to deteriorate again. So we have a conservation section that deals entirely with that, how to stabilize the artifacts and so on.
Since 2008, the Port Royal Underwater City has been listed on the World Heritage Tentative List, having been nominated by the Trust. It is the only underwater site in the Western Hemisphere, with its allure being equal to Pompeii, Italy, that was covered by volcanic ash in 79 AD. Port Royal, once a city, is now a sleepy fishing village pulling seafood addicts and history buffs. But the town, located at the end of the Palisades Strip, at the mouth of the Kingston Harbour, that was a center of shipping commerce in the Caribbean Sea more than 300 years ago, holds the attention and captures the fascination of all Jamaicans. For more information on the Port Royal Underwater City, contact the Jamaica National Heritage Trust at the JNHT Archaeology Department at 79 Duke Street, Kingston, Jamaica. Telephone 922-12878 or 922-3990 or fax 967-1703 or send an email to jnht@cwjamaica.com.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
A topical subject on the minds of many Jamaicans. What exactly is the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative?
Logistics is the process by which businesses manage the flow of goods, services, people, information, energy, and other resources through the entire supply chain from source to end users.
The various components of the hub will allow Jamaica to capitalize on the increased trade expected to flow through the region when the Panama Canal expansion is completed in 2016.
We are not saying by that that all of the project would have been finished. We are saying that there's a core set of projects and programs that must be implemented.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub, a plan in action to increase trade and grow the economy.
And that's how we end this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Please tell us what you think. You may send comments to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter @JIS News and visit our website, jis.gov.jm. Remember, faith without works is dead. So whatever you plan to do, make the first step and things will start falling into place. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.